Alrighty, so I thought I would do something a little bit different today and talk about atmosphere in gaming and in other mediums for stories for that matter. I kinda got inspired to do this from the last video with Death Stranding, since that game has a really distinctive and impactful atmosphere. So I will ramble in this video about atmosphere and what it is. And the examples I will use for this video are mainly going to be Elden Ring and Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. So yeah, I have 40 hours in Rogue Trader and I've completed Elden Ring. I will not talk about the DLC to Elden Ring, don't worry. Only like the main game and the atmosphere in that game. So yeah. So what do I mean when I say atmosphere? Well, I don't really know. It's a little hard to put down into a clear definition. Mine would probably be that it's the vibe of the game. It's like the feeling the game gives you, beyond just the fun or the stress of the gameplay or your fascination with the storyline in the game. Atmosphere and the vibe of the game is kind of like a combination of everything in the game. It's the calm and yet somber feeling you get when you walk around in Limgrave and listen to the music. It's the really stressful and dreadful feeling you get when you are fighting in Rogue Trader and like that devil demon warp meter thingy is all the way up. And the music gets crazy and you begin to see ghosts walk around everywhere. And you just know that a demon can spawn anytime you do something stupid with like your magic and warp powers and stuff like that. So it's like that tension in that instance.
Pain cleanses the body.
Like this is exactly what I mean. When you're in the opening screen for Rogue Trader and you hear the music and you just see this computer that only works because Jerry over here has been, tied into it in a really dreadful way. And I kind of think atmosphere gets kind of overlooked compared to other things like graphics, gameplay, or sound design. Because, the atmosphere is kind of a combination of all of them together. But it's still super important because for myself, and I would guess for a lot of other people, you're not going to be able to remember everything about the game. But you are going to remember the way certain moments and areas made you feel. Like Caelid, for example. Oh, and that feeling is not like a good one in that specific instance, but you get what I mean. So this is why atmosphere is something you shouldn't overlook. The vibe of the game is pretty important. At least that's how I see it. But let's actually dive a little deeper into some examples in the games I've talked about. There are so many things going on in this. From, walking out and seeing a giant golden tree, to all the plants and like the small trees having this golden and yellow color to them while the music plays in the background. It's freaking amazing. This doesn't feel like, the heroic start of the Chosen One on his quest of awesomeness. The feeling is totally different. The golden and yellow colors stand together with faded out rocks and ruins. The sky is both golden yet also kinda dark, or at least grey. You get this feeling of something majestic and cool, and also of a bygone era, like you've come after all the main events have already happened, which is kinda a theme for FromSoftware. You really get this somber feeling from the atmosphere, and that is the result of all these elements playing together, and that is freaking cool. Let's take it in a different direction with Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. I don't even need to explain to you how different this vibe is from what we've just looked at. We can take the command deck of your ship as an example, though this can apply to a lot of places in this game. Look at this, the way everything is dark and moody and covered in green lights from the map in the middle. And the music, the freaking Gregorian chant, the beat, the organ music, like it's so freaking cool and it really has a unique vibe. You get this atmosphere of grim darkness, but also of brutal defiance. And the feeling like, yeah, things are pretty crazy, but we got chainsaws on our side, so you know. Or for example, how this is a crazy change in atmosphere when we take this and go to like a rich estate in the game, where there are bright colors and a freaking fountain that can pour up sparkling water and champagne. Like, what? And it's the same thing with Elden Ring. The atmosphere is not the same everywhere, right? We can go from Limgrave to Caelid, and the tone and vibe are completely different. You just instinctively know, okay, this place is probably a pretty bad news bears. And that is also part of an atmosphere and the vibe of an area, right? It communicates to you how you should feel about a place. Everything in Caelid, from the enemies to the background music, insinuates how you should feel. And in this case, you probably shouldn't feel too great about being there. Everything kinda has the same vibe and points in the same direction. If we change the music for Caelid, for example, that would really make it feel weird because you would suddenly get different vibes instead of the consistency FromSoftware has deliberately made for every area. If you can, call the background thingy music. I don't think you can, but you get what I mean. So yeah, atmosphere is really freaking important in my opinion. It also helps a lot to make a game feel unique. I'm sure you can think of any one standard fantasy game that's generic and bland. And if I ask you about these games and ask you, well, what atmosphere did these games actually have? You would probably just shrug and say, well, I don't really know. So being unique and weird and communicating it and designing it after a certain vision is really important to have an identity and, again, a vibe. And I don't know why I keep talking about vibes and atmosphere and walking, but hey, I kind of do it in a lot of videos now. One of the most amazing things to me in Skyrim is listening to the music in Skyrim while wandering around the environment, especially in the mountain and the landscape, and just taking in the atmosphere. It's just so freaking chill and peaceful to look out over the amazing environment and nature, and especially the great view you can get from certain places in the game, while you're just, chilling out to the music. Until a frost troll comes to kick your ass, at least. So yeah, I just want to make a quick little video acknowledging the awesomeness of atmosphere and how great it can truly be in video games, in this instance at least. And I don't think you can directly rank atmosphere and vibes in a game, since it's first of all very subjective to us as the audience, and because the vibe and atmosphere can be so unique and different. But here are some more examples of vibes in games that really struck with me, in no particular order. And again, this is just my opinion, but they're pretty cool. And hey, feel free to share your own experiences and your own favorite atmospheres and vibes in video games in the comments below. So yeah, thanks for watching and listening to me ramble about something as vague as atmosphere and vibes. But hey, nonetheless, I appreciate you listening. So let's see what great stories, games and other amazing and meaningful stuff we can dive deep into the next time. See ya!